Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about this Tier 10 Italian medium, the Progetto 65. A vehicle which I consider to be one of the best beginner tanks, and especially mediums, in the game. We've all seen autoloader players, and it's a fairly common occurrence to see an autoloader YOLO, full speed into the enemy team, kill themselves in the first 30 seconds of the game, and then that's it. And then they go into the next battle and do it again. And a lot of people complain about them, but do you ever wonder why? Why does this autoloader player YOLO for no reason? And the only thought process that I can come up with is down to the fact that these players think, I got 4 shells, I got all this damage output, and I'm going to push into the enemy, get that damage out, and back in the cover. Unfortunately, a lot of the times this happens, players over-aggress and bleed way more health than they end up dealing in return. What sucks, though, is that usually whoever's on the receiving end of that damage also has their game sometimes ruined. And it's such a great example of the duality of autoloader players. It's a double-edged sword. So in today's video, I'm going to be explaining why I think the Progetto is such a fantastic beginner vehicle, and why if you, as a beginner, have not ground a medium yet, or have not really messed around with autoloaders, or you're struggling with autoloaders, I think this is a great way to bridge the gap. Now, the Progetto is an auto reloader, and what that means is, as you can see, I just fired a shell into the AMX-50B. Now, a normal autoloader would have to reload the whole clip to get the third shell back. But with an auto reloader, as you can see, the shell is going to slowly start filling back, and boom, just like that, I now have a third shell again. So the way the Progetto works is that you have 2 different playstyles. You can shoot it as a single shot with around 2,850 DPM, or you can shoot it as a clipper, and you can dump the whole clip, or shoot 2 shells and reload 1. You have many different options with this vehicle on how you can play it. And it allows you to be very dangerous, because pretend I'm in a AMX 50B, right? And I'm shooting at this enemy 50B. Well, if I'm in a 50B, I'm going to get 1 shell into this player, I'm going to get 2 shells into this player, and now I'm going to back up because I don't want to bleed more health. Now, if I was in a 50B, I'd be sitting here with 2 shells, and I would not be able to kill that enemy 50B because that player's at 1160 health. However, because I'm in an auto reloader, I shoot 2 shells into the 50B, and I already have another 2 shells back, which means I can start shooting this player here. I can load in a high explosive on the side, and you can start to see the difference between how an auto loader and an auto reloader works. What's great about auto reloaders is that even if the AMX-50B was able to get its clip reloaded and it started rushing me, I would be able to reload another shell and take that player out of the game before it would have been able to kill me. An autoloader, if it shot all 4 of its shells, would not be able to do that. And we can see again here, I'm able to start shooting this enemy Progetto very quickly instead of waiting for my clip to reload. So the reason auto reloaders are so nice, especially ones like the Progetto, this vehicle basically has the same damage per minute whether you're shooting on your first shell or your third shell. It's a 7.88 second reload for shell 1, and it's like a 7.3 second reload for shell 3. Not a real noticeable difference there. And what that means is that I can shoot my whole clip comfortably here and not really have a downside or a detriment to my damage per minute. So that's 1,050 damage I took off that Waffenträger. And now I reload again. And we can see just how efficient this vehicle is at getting out damage. Now again, imagine I was in an autoloader, for example, a TVP, and I just clipped that Waffenträger. What I wouldn't be able to do is then reload another shell into the player and get another 350 damage off. Just in that little burst of time there, I was able to take 1,500 health off of that Waffenträger Panzer IV. And look at that. Just in the time it takes me to reposition and get towards the enemy, I already have my full clip loaded once again. And it's just such a good example of why this tank is so incredibly nice to use and to mess around with. So this is why I do believe the Progetto 65 is one of the best beginner auto-loader, auto-reloader style vehicles in the game. Because there's just not many situations when you're playing this vehicle where you feel like, hey, I can't deal with this. I don't have the ability to. So we're going to aim it on the enemy Waffenträger Panzer IV. Massive low roll, but it's alright. Player still gets cleared by our Object 84. We have the T-22 on the side. Player backs up. Smart player as well, because I probably would have penned them in the side there. Okay. Well, at this point, just trying to think of exactly what I want to do. I'm kind of looking at the T-22, kind of looking at the Tortoise, and obviously I just want to get some damage here. So we're going to aim it on the Tortoise. We actually get a bounce, and then I'm going to aim it on the Tortoise one more time, get a 297 damage shell, aiming in again. Shell goes low. We can see that rather mediocre accuracy there. But not too big of a deal. We're up to 6,950 damage in this game. And that's a lot. I mean, that is actually a lot of damage when you think about it. So we're just going to back up here. And we're going to wait for, hopefully, the T-22 or somebody to make a misplay. Or the T-22 gets shot by the object. I roll off to the side, get a clear into the T-22. And then we're going to roll off to the side of the Tortoise, get a clear into that player. And boom, just like that, 7,400 damage dealt, 3 kills, and a pretty easy victory. You can see how this tank feels so comfortable because in every situation I played it in, I had shells to use. I never felt like I was outclassed. I never felt like I couldn't deal with what was placed in front of me. And that's why I still believe auto-reloaders are the strongest class of vehicle in the game when played properly. I mean, pretty solid stuff if you ask me. And I definitely feel like this is a vehicle that bridges the gap between an autoloader and an auto-reloader. So let's try one more game in the Progetto. This time a live battle. That was obviously a replay that I played yesterday. But now let's actually do a live game so that you can see it's not just all, you know, smoke. I'm actually going to play games so you can see what it's like live. But in general, this is just such a fun tank. And by the way, it's got a lot of other great attributes as well. It has really, really good upper plate armor, enough that you'll actually get super troll bounces from enemy tanks. The turret is really troll as well, due to the way it's designed. The mantlet gets a lot of bounces. The angled design on the edges can ricochet shells. It's a goofy tank. It's got decent mobility, reaching a top speed of 58 kilometers per hour. Pretty solid power to weight. In general, very, very fun. So up against us, we have an STB. We have a Bosch Chaltiun 25-ton. They also have a FE2 and 5B183, which is not necessarily something I want to fight, but we'll see what happens here. I'm going to start by making my way right over here, and we're going to push up to this area. We'll see if the enemy, there you go, we have the enemy Bosch Chaltiun, who already makes a over-aggression. Now, I got to be really careful about that 183, but I think we're fine so far. We're going to move up, and okay, Bosch Chaltiun backs off. So that spot that the 183 is in is all the way back there. So what I don't want to do is put my tank in an area where that enemy 183 could possibly get some massive chunks into me. We have the IS-7. We got a lot of tanks over here. Our WZ's moving up, though. That's obviously quite good. And I'm not seeing much over here, interestingly. Okay, we got the Bosch Chaltiun. There's one shell. All right, not too bad. You gonna back up again? No? Okay. I mean, the Bosch Chaltiun is a damaged Amarak. STB gets a nice shell into the WZ on our team. There you go. Nice shell into the Bosch Chaltiun again. Another nice shell into that player. And just like that, we have already done a pretty substantial amount of damage into those enemy tanks. And now we just reload our clip. We can see that here. It's just a chill moment. So we got the concept all the way in the back, and I'm going to aim it on the back of the concept. Unfortunately, our RNG does not really like us there. Let's aim in a second shell, 397, and a third shell, boom, 360. Pretty good stuff. We pull into cover. We're up to 2,000 damage now. We know that the STB-1 is still camping. Also, what the heck is that concept even doing? Oh, man. I just watched the enemy FE2 and 5B183 one-shot our teammate, which kind of sucks. But we're going to be smart about this. We're going to maneuver over here. And now we can push up, see if we can get some damage into the enemy STB. There it is, 1,850 health on that player. Now watch this. Watch how quickly we can just bleed this STB out. This is obviously a full health medium. There you go, we get a 342 into that player. We're going to go for the track wheel. There you go, 358. And we go for a third shell as well. Just like that, we brought a full health enemy tank down to 800. We massively won that trade. Now we obviously have help from our FB4-202, and I'm already reloading my clip once again. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to ignore the STB. We're going to aim it on this 183, because I think we can all agree FE2 and 5B183 suck. So we'll get 2 nice shells into that player. And look at how much damage we're up to already. We're up to 3,600 damage. And then I'm going to just snag this kill from the STB right in the roof for 21 damage, and there you go. This is the Progetto. It's a great tank. There's never a situation when I'm playing this vehicle that I feel like, I'm outclassed. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. You always do well in the vehicle. 3,800 damage dealt. We assisted 800, and we had a very, very solid game. No complaints coming from me. Now, I do appreciate the support from our 113 GFT. Even if that player wasn't the best, it still is nice when you have a teammate that pushes. That 113 GFT just pushing the Bosch Chaltiun allowed me and the 4202 to now play aggressive, get the clear into that player, move up to the STB. It really only takes one person to make a pushing play. The problem is my tank's not an aggressive vehicle, and I'm not going to rush an autoloader. That's just a losing trade. But yeah, I think the Progetto is great. I think that this really is one of the best beginner vehicles. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, and if you'd like to see more content like this, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. See you all in the next one. Bye-bye.